Is the bipartisan political consensus on Ukraine in US in danger? Hello and welcome to India Today Digital. I'm Anjali Istawal, and in this video we'll try and understand how the midterm elections could impact the Ukraine and Russia conflict. Well, the first thing to understand is that if Republicans gain control of the Congress, then that's definitely going to impact the agenda that President Biden is trying to push through. President Biden and the current Congress have given full support to Ukraine. America has been giving a huge financial aid in terms of security aid and other humanitarian aid to Ukraine. And Ukraine, thanks to the support it gets, especially the financial and defense support it gets from its Western partners, is able to push back Russia very effectively. Now, the question arises, will Republicans continue this support? If we look at the statistics of how much financial aid has been given to Ukraine by now, according to the statistics, it's a commitment of more than $18.9 billion of assistance to Ukraine. And this is a big payout. It's a possibility that the Republicans, if they gain control of the Congress, might not want such a hefty payout to Ukraine. They could clamp down on the amount the money that is being given to Ukraine. The Republicans might consider the cost of war being too heavy to be borne by the US citizens, especially since one of the biggest issues during these elections has been cost of living. But we do have to understand that the Russia-Ukraine conflict has not really featured as a political issue in these midterm elections. Now, apart from the impact of the midterm elections, there is another thing, and that is that US has steadfastly said and continuously said that it will stand with Kyiv. And it has said that it will be continuing its support to Kyiv. And it was reiterated recently by the US ambassador to UN, Linda Thomas Greenfield, and she met President Volodymyr Zelensky. And after coming out of the meeting, and she was addressing the journalists present over there, and she said that the Moscow must be in, even if they want to talk to Moscow, then Ukraine, must be in the driver's seat. That is, that they should be in control as to when they want to talk, when they want to negotiate, and on what terms they want to negotiate. We've already seen Zelensky and his many aides clearly stating, sometimes through tweets, sometimes through statements, that they will talk to Russia only with their preset conditions. Let's try and look at what are those preconditions that Zelensky has been raising again and again, which he says have to be fulfilled in case there are to be any negotiations. The assurances that Volodymyr Zelensky wants from Russia are, firstly, restoration of Ukraine's territorial integrity. Secondly, compensation for all war damage. Thirdly, punishment for every war criminal. And fourthly, a guarantee that all this will never happen again. Not only does Ukraine want all these conditions to be met, it also believes that in no condition President Vladimir Putin is the person that they can talk to. And they, in fact, keep reiterating that they will be speaking to whoever replaces Vladimir Putin in office later. So in a way, they are waiting for the administration or the person on top to change before they want to continue talking with Russia. While other countries like India are increasing their pressure on Ukraine and Russia to talk, we still do not see a breakthrough. Though we have seen a change in stance in both Ukraine and Russia as far as negotiations are concerned. Both have softened their stance considerably. But does that mean they will come to the talking table? Well, that's not for sure. Meanwhile, India's External Affairs Minister, Mr. S. Jaishankar, he was in Moscow, where he reiterated that this is not the era of war. This is an era of diplomacy and dialogue, and that is how we can resolve conflict. This is a message that Prime Minister Modi has sent out to Russia earlier also, and this was reiterated again in Moscow by our minister. But the big question is, will Moscow, or for that matter Ukraine, come to the negotiating table so that the impact that the rest of the countries are reeling under, which is mainly the increase in the energy prices, cost of living, inflation, which is all directly or indirectly related to the Ukraine conflict, will that actually become the spotlight or not? All this takes prominence also because G20 is now going to be the biggest international platform where this conflict will take spotlight. It will be spoken about. Already we can hear murmurs from Russia as well as Ukraine as far as G20 and the agenda is concerned, but Ukraine-Russia conflict is one of the big issues that are going to be highlighted during the G20 meetings. Now, we do hope that there is going to be some peaceful and just resolution to this entire conflict, but the elections in US, as we were speaking earlier, could impact how Ukraine gets aid or military help from Ukraine. Do tell us what you think about this video in the comment section, and also subscribe to India Today for more news updates.